Hello guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my videos, and today I bring you guys every rare bloodline ranked from worst to best. Now in this video, I'm going to be ranking every 1 out of 200 kg, so all the ones that aren't skins and 1 out of 200 when you spin them, or limited. You know, some of the 1 out of 200 ones went limited, but I'll still count them. And the boss kgs, since the boss kgs are also really rare to get. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, click on more. Let's get right to the video, guys. Alright, so coming in last place is actually be Shindo Akuma. Now this has been nerfed and nerfed to the point where Shindo Akuma is actually not anywhere near as good as it used to be. Now for the better or worse, I'm not sure, because Shindo Akuma was such a powerful force in this game that it kind of changed the game and how like the balance of the game was, just because Shindo was so overpowered. Now Shindo by any means is not bad now, but it's just not as good as all the other rare bloodlines of the game. And you know, that is kind of a hard thing to top, because the rare bloodlines are obviously mostly pretty good, because rare usually equals good when it comes to Shindo Life. But yeah, Shindo is going to be coming in last just because it's been nerfed and isn't nearly as good as the other rare ones. Now coming up next is actually Naramaki. Now Naramaki is going to be second to last, because Naramaki after the nerfs is not nearly as good as it used to be, and the reason why it's not below Shindo is because of the second mode, which I obviously do not have because I do not have this leveled up. But the second mode, the Tetasaiyan mode, actually gives you insane stat bonus, and you get a passive auto dodge, and the abilities of it are actually quite good. But the rest of the abilities are honestly, you know, they're honestly not that good anymore because of the AoE nerf. After the AoE nerf, it's kind of really hard to hit the abilities even more than it used to be, because the main downfall of Naramaki used to be that you could dodge the abilities really easily, and now it's just so insanely easy to dodge these abilities. It is kind of unreal, and overall Naramaki is just not as good as it was before, and it's not as good as the other rare bloodlines. Now coming up next is actually be Diva Ren. Now Diva Ren has fallen from grace. Diva Ren is not nearly as good as it used to be. All of the abilities of Diva and things like that, pretty much all of the AoEs have been massively nerfed. So because of all the AoEs being nerfed, Diva just isn't as good as it used to be. But the abilities are still good to use for iframes, but that's honestly about it, because it's just, like, as you guys can see, I was right next to them and the ability didn't hit. Not only that, but all of the other abilities, I'm pretty sure almost every single ability of Diva Ren was actually nerfed from the AoE update. So Diva Ren went from being a powerhouse to just being an iframe bloodline, and iframe bloodlines are actually still quite good, but just not as good as it used to be. Now next up is going to be Sriracha. Now Sriracha is not a bad bloodline by any means. I actually believe Sriracha is actually quite a good bloodline. But compared to the bloodlines that are going to be coming up in this video, Sriracha is not as good as them. But it doesn't mean it's not a bad bloodline. As I said, every single bloodline on this list was overpowered at one point, and it is still quite good. So yeah, just keep that in mind while taking this into your consideration. But Sriracha, every single ability is instantaneous. The second ability is probably the worst one of Sriracha, because it's only stun global cooldown, which I do not really know why. I know it's quite a good ability and it can be useful in combos, but the stun global cooldown makes it pretty much useless. Now the third ability right here is actually a counter ability. It pretty much does the throwable effect of the mode. As you guys can see, it literally just does the throwable effect but in a counter. It's a lot like Minakaze's counter. The C spec is actually a stamina drain, chi drain. It overall is actually quite good. I'm leveling up Sriracha, because this is Sriracha Gold, by the way. Sriracha is red, but the weapon spec is the weapon spec is actually quite like the C spec, but the weapon spec is actually a block breaker. Now overall, Sriracha is actually quite a good bloodline, which is why it's going to be about halfway through the list. Now next up is actually going to be Boramaki. Now Boramaki is going to be coming up next, because Boramaki kind of has a lot of damage output. Now with the second ability, the second mode, the C spec is actually an ability that puts theirs on a cooldown ability. The weapon spec is actually a counter ability, so when they attack you, you teleport to them and do a small attack. The first ability is it's a block break. It's really easy to auto dodge, but if you're auto dodging that ability, you pretty much lost the fight already. Now the third ability is one of the best zoning abilities in the game. I do not understand why people say the third ability is bad for Boramaki. Even if you don't hit any of them, they have to either hold down block, auto dodge, or do something. The third ability of Boramaki is insanely good just for zoning people away from you. Now the second ability is the portal ability. It's actually an auto dodge iframe ability, teleports them to you and stuns them, or you can teleport away with the portal. And yeah, Boramaki is actually insanely good. It's actually kind of crazy how this bloodline hasn't been nerfed at all. Now next up is going to be Minakaze, and I'm going to be using the blue skin just because I think the blue skin looks better. But Minakaze, before it was nerfed, was the best bloodline in the game. by far Minakaze was the best. It was just the best bloodline in the game. But after the nerfs, the third ability had the chi drain actually increased. I do not like the chi drain being increased. I think that should be reverted. All the other nerfs are actually good, but that chi drain thing is kind of, you know, so the third ability and the second ability actually got hand signs, which actually makes Minakaze a lot worse than it used to be, but it doesn't make it bad. It just makes it balanced. Now note that even after the nerfs, Minakaze is still actually extremely good, just because all the abilities still do a ton of damage and they teleport and do all that good stuff. Now the first ability is obviously the same. I don't think they nerfed the first ability at all. No, the first ability is actually the exact same. And overall, all the abilities are actually quite good for Minakaze. The weapon spec is actually a counter. And yeah, Minakaze overall is still an extremely good bloodline. All the combos still work with Minakaze. And overall, Minakaze is still extremely good. Now, coming up next is actually be Forged Rengoku. Now, Forged Rengoku, I know that a lot of you guys probably forgot this even exists in the game. But yes, Forged Rengoku is still here. Still has these insane weapon specs. The Z spec is still absolutely insane. But please note, I'm pretty sure the AoE was actually nerfed. The AoE of that ability and the first ability when you click, I'm pretty sure those two were nerfed. So the AoEs were actually nerfed, but they still are quite good to use in fights. But obviously there's like 3 main things of Forged Rengoku that are absolutely OP. So first of all, you do have this ability right here, which is actually a mode drain ability, and it can be useful in combos. The weapon spec is actually one of the best weapon specs of the game. It's like an instantaneous 100k damage in mode, it's insane. I'm sure you guys can understand why that's so insane. Now the best part is you can actually domain yourself or other people, and if you domain yourself in the middle of a combo, it is literally just an auto dodge that lasts a very long time. It's quite literally a free combo escape, and overall that's really busted when it comes to Shindo Life. Now next up is going to be Ryuji Kenichi. Now after the nerfs, Ryuji Kenichi, before the nerfs, Minakaze would have been number 1, Ryuji Kenichi would have been number 2. But after the nerfs, the low HP mode is actually a lot worse than it used to be. Stats aren't nearly as high as they used to be, and it triggers at a lower HP threshold. But overall, Ryuji Kenichi is still actually insanely good. You still have the Z spec. The Z spec doesn't do 200,000 damage like it used to, which that was insane, but it still does quite a bit of damage and is very good with Shindai Ren clones, as you guys probably know from my video. The first ability is actually just a better Kenichi first ability. It does more damage and overall is better for combos. The second ability here is pretty much just a long-range dragon attack that does a lot of damage. As you guys can see, that probably did like a flat 100k damage. Now the third ability is one of the coolest. When you click on them, it does that, boom, and it pretty much is just an instantaneous stun ability, and it actually is quite good. Now the weapon spec is very good for chasing runners, and he actually died before he could heal, and he was meant to heal. So overall, Ryuji Kenichi is actually very busted as a bloodline still, and Ryuji Kenichi is still actually extremely good. The low HP mode can save you a lot of times. Now coming in second is actually be Shindai Rengoku. Now Shindai Rengoku is going to be coming in second because of the mode alone. The mode carries this bloodline so hard. The mode is so busted. I mean it when I say this. The mode of Shindai Rengoku is quite literally a bloodline itself, all in a mode, which is actually amazing. That's really cool. But with the normal abilities of Shindai Rengoku, the main one is actually going to be the third one. So I'm going to have him attack me here. I'm going to have him hit me here, and when he hits me, they will actually be clones. So if you use the throwable at the right time, the clones will actually get all of the hits off, and you basically just the clones can actually do up to around 200,000 damage, and I'm gonna let you guys think for that for a second. That is quite literally old Shindai Kuma clone level. Now it isn't quite as good as the old Shindai Kuma clones because they have to hit you for you to be able to trigger that, but if they trigger that, they're instantly dead. It's pretty much just an instantaneous death unless they spam that auto dodge button. And overall, Shindai Ren mode is just extremely busted. The mode, you get these M1s that are absolutely insane. You can summon clones which get the same M1s as you. Not only that, but the M1s don't knock back at all. And I feel like every buffed M1 should knock back because it makes things like this possible, where you go like this, use a throwable, and then, oh, okay, so I'm pretty sure they nerfed the throwable. The throwable used to straight up stun them. I believe they did nerf the throwable. Let me check one more time here. No, they didn't. They didn't nerf the throwable. That's my bad. They didn't actually nerf the throwable, and overall, you could quite literally kill someone just by M1ing them and using the throwable on them. You know, throw that weapon spec in there. Now, the main downfall of Shindai Rengoku is actually going to be the second ability. If the second ability was fixed, this ability would 100% be number 1. But this ability right here, the second one, as you guys can see, halfway through it, it stopped hitting. Shindai Rengoku's second ability does not hit half the time, and this needs fixed. I do not know why it's not fixed yet, but once it's fixed, this will definitely be number 1 on the list. Now coming in first is actually be Ghost Karashi, or I'm using Inferno Karashi, which is just a skin. Now, Ghost Karashi, Inferno Karashi, cope all you want by saying your bloodline is better. It is not. Ghost Karashi is the best bloodline in the game. Not only the best rare bloodline, but it is quite literally the best bloodline. Now, the mode is actually a carry. It does have these M1s here. As you guys can see, they do 14k damage a hit. Come on, man. That's really good. C-Spec is a mode drain. It drains mode. It does 60k damage. It is instantaneous. The weapon spec is a grapple hook that can actually extend your M1 combos or get you out of fights. Now, that's not even the best part of Ghost Karashi. The best part is actually the first ability, zero hand sign auto dodge ability that can set up your combos because it actually stuns them. The second ability is actually a mode. You could actually stack abilities with this, and when you M1 people, it will actually stun them. So you literally just get free damage. Now, if that did not convince you enough that this is the best bloodline, the third ability is actually just an extended, stun ability. You can auto dodge out of this like you can auto dodge out of anything else, but you cannot use instant abilities, and it actually does quite a bit of damage at the end there. But obviously, the main thing that makes Ghost Karashi good is actually going to be the C-Spec, the mode, and the first ability. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like this, click on more. See you next one, guys. Bye-bye.